books all around the globe to change the narratives around menstruation from hygiene to dignity and from 5 days bleeding to life cycle approach. It urges to examine the menstrual perception and practices from the lens of human rights. Global South Coalition also initiated International Dignified Menstruation Day for December 8 since 2019. In this connection, this year we will be the 4th year of celebration. The theme of this year is Dignified Menstruation for Ending Child Marriage. Over 50 countries all around the globe, Dignified Menstruation Day will be marking with different programs. Many organizations have already started to kick off the activities as a pre-kickoff for marking 8th December. And here, as a pre-kick for 8th December, we are having this webinar. Hope you will be enjoying. Today, on our webinar, we have a very experienced, distinguished speaker joining from all the way from India. Let's welcome to her. Swati, you are most welcome in our webinar.
Hello, salam, namaste, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, to all friends across the world.
Thank you very much for joining, and your contribution meant a lot for us and who believe on dignified menstruation. Swati, would you start from your introduction? What would you like to call by all of us and in future through the YouTube channel?
This is an important subject. You in your area, me in my area have been working on it very, very passionately. It's good that we, through this platform of we are getting together to spread this work on this very, very important topic. I started working around menstruation and particularly violence against women and girls somewhere across 2008, 2009. Before that, I was a science educator, science communicator, and believed that more and more women should be in STEM education. We should have more women scientists, women with more balanced thinking, and was kind of disappointed not finding the girls in the schools. It was very obvious that why are they not there? After reaching puberty, with the lack of good sanitary protection and a big taboo in the society, and somewhere this creates such a big hindrance for the girls to come to the school. And after probing a little more, I found it's not just the girls. There is complete ignorance in the society amongst men and women regarding menstruation. And it is not a recent phenomenon, but it goes centuries back. Somewhere after 10th, 12th century, the connection between childbirth and menstruation, it seems to have lost from the knowledge systems, residing in this particular continent. And somewhere that has led to a very big indifference also in the society, that this is not being recognized as a problem, not being addressed as a problem. When women have been managing, but this ignorance and indifference leads to a very big injustice, and it is aimed only and only towards the girls. And the biggest, the biggest element of it is they lose out on education. And once someone loses out on education, I think they lose out on a right to a lifestyle. If you don't have education, you can't say that I will work towards setting my life right. So this is a very big violation of a human right, of a girl's right. I felt so. And then rather than waiting for someone else to come and do it, uh, if you feel strongly, I think one should get down to make that difference oneself. And that's where this whole movement of normalizing menstruation in the society started. Like, creating awareness in the society. So started talking to village women, village girls, village men in particular, because unless every part of the society is involved in it, the change is not going to come. And well, that's where we started. In all these years, um, we have tried to reach out to the places which are unreached. Not that we have reached everywhere, but at least there is an effort, and the effort is still continuing. If we see that there is a need somewhere and one needs to go physically work, talk to, connect with women, we try and do that. Uh, we call our movement Sakhi, which means a friend and a confidant, because a woman often needs a confidant with whom she can share, she can open up her heart, seek some solace, some solution. Uh, so we have created this Sakhi to which can give little comfort to every woman, which can give a platform to every woman to talk her heart out and to seek solutions for her problems. And that's how we have connected. I think we both are doing the same work in our own way. And together, let's try and do more.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's really inspiring. You talk about the school. How did you come up with the idea of menstrual movement? And here, I like to know a little bit about your personal experience mm, uh, about your menstruation before the menstruation, like 5 6 years, and then during the first menstruation, your personal story. I want to try to link your movement and the personal stories. Is that possible?
Okay. Well, I grew up in the city of Mumbai, uh, and that too in an educated family, where practically there was no discrimination. Uh, I think I got every opportunity that a girl should get. Still, this one little issue, menstruation or first period, wasn't as comfortable as it should have been. Not that people looked at me weirdly or nobody told me, but still, the society around, the friends, the peer pressure, all that was so much that it even me in the situation where I was very uncomfortable and was filled with a lot of questions that why this one phenomenon, if it is common to all the women, then this should be as normal as my brother. Like, he started growing beard and mustaches. He looked so weird and so dirty, ugly. Still he was accepted very very normally. And then why a girl has to be more careful, why she has to be quiet, why she has to change her lifestyle. These were the questions with me. But one thing did change things for me, let me tell you. See, I grew up in Mumbai. I belong to Maharashtra, that is Marathi speaking part of India, where Ganesh Puja is a very big festival. It's all over the world, people know about it. And everybody at home, we receive Ganesh ji, do the puja, send him away, and all of that goes on. And in one of the years, I was going to be in my periods. And my friends, they said, how can you stay home during this festival when you are in your periods? I said, well, my mother never told me to go away, so I'm going to very well stay there. He said, no, 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 somebody might die in your family, something might happen to someone. And they filled me up with so many stories that I actually got scared. And then I said, what should I do? Then they handed me over a tablet, you get those hormones tablets which are used also to as deterrent to have children. And then I just swallowed one tab without thinking, one tablet,
Yeah.
and
Then
started vomiting profusely.
contraceptive pills for the from your
Contraceptive
family.
pills. Yes,
Yeah.
contraceptive pills. I started vomiting. I almost fell sick. And my mom said, like, what happened to you suddenly? Then, I said, I'm going to get my periods. And if I get my periods, one of you might die. So my friends tell me, so I swallowed this tablet and she freaked. What are contraceptives doing in your bag? I said, no, friend gave, so my periods would be prolonged. My goodness. Then my mom just told me once that day, look, if it was something like this was going to happen, I would have told you. Before you listen to others, you could have asked me this question. But that day, something happened. Like my brother, my father, my mother, they all sat with me and said, you are not going anywhere. Don't take these tablets. Even if you are on your period, we are going to perform this puja with you right here in the house. And
Wow.
if at all, let's ask God what is wrong in it. And if at all God says, I'm going to punish you, all of us will take that punishment. You're not alone in this. You know, though there was that little fear somewhere in the back of my mind, this one particular act gave me a lot of confidence. Confidence that there is nothing wrong in it, and God is definitely not going to punish me because God doesn't say this is wrong. Uh, I experienced that. I lived through that. And somewhere, then I realized that it is only the misconception, lack of knowledge, ignorance. If that goes away, the things can be easy for women. Now, so many years went in between, and when I faced this problem, when I was trying to educate women in the villages, one day I went to a girl's home and I found her sitting on the backside, half naked, sitting on a stone. I said, I scolded her mother literally, like, what is this? I mean, this is not the way. You can give her some old clothes, some protection. You can at least make her feel comfortable, make her sit in a comfortable position. Uh, See, in this part of the world, ignorance is not the only problem. There is another problem of poverty, extreme poverty. So
Mhm.
the woman said, well, I don't have any old clothes. Whatever old clothes we have, we wear them. And I don't even have sufficient water. So let her sit on the stone. Once she is done, we'll just pour some water on the stone and it will be. Uh, Now, this incident, I couldn't stop there. I did not, I mean, the feeling of uh, it could be compassion, it could be rejection of the idea that this was happening just a few kilometers away from my city, uh, that a girl has to face this. Uh, that day, something inside told me that no girl faces this, not anymore. And that's when we started, that every woman, every girl should be should have some knowledge about menstruation. And if no one is going to come to them and give them the protection, they should start making it themselves.
Yeah.
So that is how we started making pads, first from the cloth, from the old clothes, then from the new clothes, then from other different material. We became we were very creative in creating different kinds of pads. I researched how pads were made in the olden days because women have sustained through all these time. So we made pads the way they used to make it, and then today we make pads very, very contemporary, the way they should be made. And given to our climatic conditions, our women make 100% biodegradable organic pads from indigenous material. The material also comes from the surroundings. So, yeah, what a woman cannot do, a woman can
Yeah.
do, and she must sort of take a stand for, because for me this was violence. The violence always doesn't have to be physical violence or getting beaten up. This kind, when you see this kind of a thing, to the onlooker, to the observer, and to the person who faces, this is such a big violence, because I have gone through that fear that because of me something wrong might happen to someone else, which a girl never wants. She always wants the best for her family, for her friends, for the world around her. And here a girl is going to made feel that she's something strange is happening to her. um, she is impure. Because of her something bad, miss a food might get spoiled. The mm, trees and plants around her might not live if it touches them. Animals may die if her shadow falls on them. All kinds of misconceptions. My goodness. I don't know how they have been created for all along all these years. I started actually writing stories on all of this. I would pick up one misconception, and to deconstruct it, write a counter story as somebody's experience and make those stories popular, because this was needed. And then as a science communicator, I always believed in experiential education. So whenever a girl won't come to school and would be on her periods, I would take rest of the girls. Come on, let's go and keep her company. So they would carry their tiffins, go to her, sit with her, eat the tiffin with her. All the girls realized that what we were thinking was not really true. It was just a perception of in our mind because of lack of knowledge. Now that we know what happens, because it is very important that to tell the world, to make the people understand. uh, I guess I guess you're okay with it, because
Yeah, yeah, please.
as a science communicator, these are the things I really want to tell the world. See, our body should run properly, for which there are systems made inside our body. Respiratory system, nervous system, circulatory system, digestive system, excretory system. All these systems work for our own body. For one body, they are completely sufficient. They work independently. It is the only one system, reproductive system. A girl or a boy singularly cannot get the work done. This is the nature's arrangement. So when you are bringing a new life to the world, there has to be harmony, there has to be balance, peace, and love in the older generation, right? That's why two people come together. That's why this feeling of love is made by the nature, so that the new life that comes in, you know, is considered a product of love. Yeah. And that is why reproductive system, partially it is in a woman's body and partially in a man's body. And see, look at the nature has considered a woman uh, a perfect person to carry the fetus inside her, the nurture the fetus into a baby inside her body. So this is an additional responsibility given by the nature. And lovingly, a woman fulfills it happily. She goes through all the pain, not by choice, but because she is given this responsibility. And this one aspect, men must be told that there would be no world, there would be no human beings if woman doesn't go through this pain. So please respect her. No, no, you must respect her. And well, if this sensitivity is brought into men and women, uh, they do understand. So all, like, people like us, activists like us, we could do is eradicate this ignorance. Just do away with it. Educate everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing very um, enlightful um, um, presentation. I like the idea of how does the systems are working independently and how does the reproductive system needs to collaborate
Yes.
with all systems. If something going wrong in hormone, it impact from A to
Yes.
2
Yes.
of the body. There is no any excuses,
Yeah.
right? So it's a very interesting way to present. I like the idea, and you coming from the science education
Yeah.
communication background, and then you link this. I like it. Very interesting. And I do agree with you. Globally, there is a silence. Few people, few organizations know about the menstruation, but they don't like to talk about. For example, doctors, nurses, public health professionals, science teachers, they know about the menstruation. They know about the anatomy and physiology, but they don't like to talk because what is it? Something like that. They accept it as a taken for granted. They know that means everyone know, and there is a silence. Once there is a silence create the different kind of horns like roots, and each root has a different kind of justification. Like you said, during the Ganesh Puja, if you were there, your family would get family god would get angry, and there will be something wrong. So the because of the silence that associated with the ignorance, and then there is the combination of the silence and ignorance, it comes up with the another idea, the myth, the rumors, the perception, misperception, misconception, and that idea with the justification. So it imposed in a way that you have to do it, and it created the fear. The fear, at the end of the day, fear works
Yes.
to make someone to follow that kind of practice. It's very interesting. So continuously have to have the talk or dialogue around menstruation at home, at school, at workplace, at everywhere. Because we cannot imagine the place or the area without having the menstruators. And in that sense, we talk about the mustache and the beard. And why should not we talk about the menstruation and our breast, right? So these kind of things is very important. And I often think that, oh, this is the missing. And I said myself, it's good. This is a missing. That is a you and me have opportunity to work on it.
Yes.
Our
Very.
ancestors, our sisters, our mothers, our scientists, our activists, they have done a lot already. And they miss out to talk about the menstrual discrimination or the dignified menstruation in other side of the coin. And this is how we have the opportunity, and we have been working right now. It's really very emotional type of conversation, and I like the idea. You have been traveling a lot across the India and the beyond. You mentioned earlier that you visited Manipur in East India, and also been to Bhutan. Based on your experience, while establishing the pad units in different parts of the India and other countries, how did you see the menstrual stigma or discrimination or menstrual practices? Is this really because of the poverty, or is because of the stigma, the discrimination, the taboo, the shyness, the abuses, or deprivation from the resources, like not allowed to enter in the kitchen, not allowed to cooking, not allowed to touch the water source or fruit, something like that. Can you explain from your experience, please?
Uh, See, Radha, it's both. See, particularly in our continent, I should say the continent, because I mean uh, all the countries. I mean India. It encompasses all, like Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri. I mean, in our continent, whatever countries are there, the culture is somewhat similar. Okay, and all this area has been for years together. Constantly something or the other is happening here. The political changes, cultural mixing, different influences of thoughts from different cultures. In this one thing I saw, where blood is concerned, there is a lot of fear, and these myths around menstruation essentially seem to have come up with this inherent fear in the minds. Like, without any wound, how does a girl or a woman menstruate? And when there was no proper explanation to that, as I said, if the times have been volatile, if there has not been proper education, opportunities of education, opportunities of dialogues between learned people or men and women, in whatever manner, if there is no proper dialogue, if there is no proper thinking, then the fear takes over your thinking, and you start making up for such things, such as a woman may be cursed, or she may be having some superpowers. And believe me, it is not only considered that she becomes impure. In There are some places where people think she's got some superpower, and she may take away life from other people during this time, if she's allowed to mix up in the society or mix up with the other things. We really need to tell them, like, if at all women had such superpowers, or if she was getting those superpowers, forget 4 days, even if for one day, then today she won't be in this situation. you know Here we are living in a situation where one gender has completely suppressed the other gender. For this one thing, because she menstruates, uh, it's so easy to say you are becoming impure, or you are becoming a problem to the society, or because of you the world can get bad. Emotionally, I think it destroys the woman when this thought is implicated inside, kind of put inside her at a very tender age of 10, 12. So many times I tell mothers that, why do you tell them to hush hush, why do you tell them to keep quiet, or why do you tell them that you sit aside? Because somewhere, this discrimination starts at this level. Is the mother who is the closest to the daughter, and she tells her, you sit aside, now you don't mix with others. Is the mother who needs to give this confidence to the daughter, that now you're growing up, now you are going to be competent to for procreation. You are the one who can create another life. And see, if women accept and decide that I'm going to be, sit quietly, let the world say whatever, I'm not going to open my mouth, I'm not going to oppose them, then this is where we have reached. We've been suppressed for everything. This one reason, just because a girl is going to grow up. Whenever you deliver a girl child, what comes to a mother's mind? I speak to so many women. What they say? Oh my God, now we have to protect her physically. She's going to get her periods. Then we have to marry her off. And then, all the expense and blah, 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 all of that. All this thought starts with this one thought, that she's going to grow up, get periods. We have to protect her, we have to manage her. Well, if at all this confidence is given to the girl, that after a certain time, you're a complete person as you're born, but after a certain time, one system in your body is going to start working, which is the reproductive system. And you are the master of it. You know, you should decide when to make use of it, whether you want to use it or you don't want to use it at all. This is your right because this is part of your own body. If the girl gets this confidence, you know, and if the awkwardness around this conversation goes away, uh, just now you said, like, teachers don't teach, doctors don't talk. It is all because of this awkwardness created around this topic. If I go to a school and talk to girls and tell them that you have a vagina, they won't talk about it. If I tell the teacher, tell them that girls have a vagina and men have a penis. If you can teach the children, this is my nose, these are my eyes, these are my ears, you must talk to them about these parts as well. If the teachers don't talk about it, children are bound to feel, girls are bound to feel this is something awkward. We should not be talking about it because neither my mother is talking about it nor my teacher. So a perfect, simple conversation without any awkwardness must happen right from the school, right from the family. Okay, and that is because when a girl faces a bad touch in the family, she's not able to talk about it to anybody because she's not able to understand that there are certain parts which are considered normal body parts and there are certain body parts which are considered private, and it's only my prerogative to feel or do anything with it. If someone else does something wrong or touches me wrongly, how do I say? If there is a normal healthy conversation around it, a girl will have that guts, the girl will have that courage to speak against it. So that must happen, be it school, be it family. If the girl is going to the school, if she is not going to the school, believe me, in tribal areas, I have seen people do talk about it. People who are living in the residents of forest areas, they do talk about it. But I don't know from where these funny ideas have come up in the cities, in the villages, or in the closed communities that this is a girl's matter and everybody should not talk about it. Um, yeah, it will take some time, but we need to do this. Uh, the problem, I tell you, uh, this idea gets so much deep rooted in people's minds uh, that it gets translated at times in actual physical violence. Uh, See, it started from observing my own household mates. And then, of course, when I started working, I make it a point to visit the local police stations and find out what are the cases regarding female violence and the reasons behind them. When I talk to, say, 10, if I talk to 10 women, at least 8 out of 10 women think that it is their fault that they have to face violence. Can you believe? And the reason behind it, they say, what to do? 4 days of the month, we are anyway unavailable because of the period. During the period, we get infection, which goes on because there is no proper menstrual protection tool. The thing goes on because we catch up with infection, it goes on another 10-15 years, our illness continues. What will the man do? He takes out his frustration on us and we just have to go through it. My goodness. I mean, if the women are thinking this way, see, there are two things. One thing is, maybe it could be love that they are feeling that they are depriving their man. But then Is it not man's responsibility to make sure that the woman of the house gets what she needs, gets the proper menstrual protection? If she needs money to buy that, she should be getting it. He should be providing her that. If she needs whatever, any other help, any other medical help, he should be spending his time also with that and making sure that she is healthy. Beating her up or engaging into violence, I mean, what kind of system is this? So see this, and a woman will never talk about it. She's not going to report this. She'll just suffer silently, thinking it's all her own fault. Um, I'm sure this doesn't get even reported in many places. Till someone really tells them, speak up, come on, and you don't really have to suffer. You don't really have to go through this. The pain you're feeling because of infection or whatever, it is curable. There is a cure for it, and you can prevent. There is prevention for it as well. So this discrimination or lack of knowledge or ignorance leads to this extent, which is which is heartbreaking. I mean, this must be corrected.
Yeah.
Solution, if you ask me, what I do is I ask the women to go out with placards on the road in a rally that we are not going to face this. We are not going to face infection anymore. And please make this arrangement in the family budget. In this whole side, our families don't have that, 30, 40 rupees in their budget so that the woman of the house could be healthy. Even if she's making using a cloth pad, it needs to be changed after 3, 4 months. It needs to be washed, so she has to have a proper washing and drying facility. So giving these facilities to women, creating these facilities for women wherever they are, this should be a movement. A woman, whether she's working, if she's not working, if she's staying in a village, the village should have these facilities. If she's living in a city, the house, her office, the workplace, the public place, everything must have these facilities for women. Like, there are in a way there are certain facilities for men, or they have created it for themselves. There are urinals for men. Why not for women? Why not pads for women available everywhere? Why not pad disposal systems available for women, so they can use and dispose their pads in privacy with dignity?
Yes. Very
So
true.
it's
Very
not
true.
only the society, it's the governments. We need to move everyone. It has to be part of the government policies that everywhere, wherever women are going to be around, these are the minimum facilities, because menstruation is something natural. It is not by woman's choice. So she must get these facilities.
Yeah.
So wherever you move your government, I will move mine. So
Thank you so much. So much vibrating, so much energy, very inspiring. Thank you. Actually, I totally agree with you because of the menstruation. The girls, women, or any menstruators constantly facing the problem or they struggle. They don't have any kind of dignified situation everywhere. So Global South Coalition um, gave a word or try to make the theory of power construction. While we talk about the women's right or violence against girls, children, or women, or human right, we always talk about the power and patriarchy. Oh, it's because of the power, unequal power relation is because of the patriarchy. But we never ever think that the power inequality and the patriarchy has a strong connection with the menstruation and the menstrual practice, menstrual discrimination.
yes.
Because of that, they are constantly treating as a inferior, powerless, disadvantaged. That kind of thing we are missing globally. Yesterday, I noticed that was a day of equal pay, global equal pay day.
Yeah.
And then one of my friend was saying, oh, let's stand for the equal pay. And then I said, let's have a talk on menstrual dignity. If we are able to talk about the menstrual dignity, if we are able to claim our rights at home, at school, at workplace, and everywhere, that we can get the equal pay. For example, in USA, out of 5 female nurses, there is a 1 male nurse. And that 1 male nurse is getting 5% higher salary than the 5 female nurse. This is very simple to understand.
Yes.
And I totally agree with you. You said it needs to be in a policy at home. We have to allocate the budget for the menstrual product, the qualified, and according to the choice, they have to they deserve to buy it, like razor. We never ask about the razor.
Exactly.
What kind of razor you are buying, whether you like to save it or not, what kind of aftershave you are using. Even in the poorest of the poor person, even in the street man, allocate the budget for the razor. And the family is not accepting the need, the biological need to take care of our menstruation. This is very, very sad, even in 2022.
Yeah.
And
it's considered luxury product. I mean,
yeah. And that is what, as you said, I totally agree with you. The policy of the home policy of the government has to specifically allocate the money for managing the dignified menstruation, not only the product, but also the
privacy part of it.
dismantle the patriarchy, which has a connection with the menstrual practice. And then another thing, I keep thinking, Swapna, our colleague who is supporting us right now, she has a baby, like about 1.5 years baby, and I was wondering what kind of toys she's buying for her. And we always buy about the fruits, the toys about the fruits, about the kitchen, about the dolls, about the automobiles, but we never bought the toys about our body. We never teach them about the vagina and penis, and we try to make it very separate, very private, very hiding since beginning, and then later it construct and shape the power, construct and shape the patriarchy, and as a result, we all facing the violence directly related with the menstruation and indirectly because of the power connection. That is the missing right now in the global conference conversation.
We are constantly teaching our girls to manage the menstruation.
Yes.
Since the time she comes, we never make her understand her menstruation.
Very true.
And because we don't do that, see, another problem is, sorry, you'll see how many problems she is bringing out, but then these are experiences, you know. This is, and I must talk about it, I think.
Please
go
ahead.
One girl understands this, you know, girls keep thinking that I just have to hide it, I just have to manage it. Menstruation has got something to do with sex, okay? Often a girl and a boy, even if he doesn't know, he will always connect menstruation, this whole process, with sex and not health. If at all, you know, if we tell the girls the science behind it, if not the science, at least we make her understand that what happens during menstruation. A lot of girls don't even know that if they are being taken disadvantage of, what does it mean? They have no idea about it. If they know, if they understand their menstruation, why this blood is coming out, what is happening during that time, case she will be better equipped to save herself from the instances like rape. You know, uh, at least she will have knowledge of what exactly is happening to her body, or if a man is going to overpower her, what is it exactly is going to do. She won't lie helpless there if she has this knowledge, and that's the reason we must talk about it. A
Yeah,
girl must be told, because see, even if the girl usually if she's out of school, she stays home, naturally she's married off,
yeah, yeah,
because the parents don't want to, number one, manage her menstruation, make her vulnerable. So the easiest thing to do is just marry her off. Let her husband decide what is to be done with her.
yeah,
The
yeah,
girl doesn't even know what is happening to her after marriage, or whether she's being loved or she's being raped. She doesn't know, because she has no actually idea about her menstruation, what is happening to her, and why is it
yeah,
happening to her.
yeah, yeah,
So this
very
is
true.
another kind of
Yeah, I wanted to ask your opinion.
hmm.
India is a big country. The
India.
population is big, geographically big, by population is big,
Hmm.
by development is big,
Hmm.
and there are so many organizations are working on menstrual hygiene management, menstrual health management,
Hmm. Hmm.
and they in my observation, they often not talking about the menstrual dignity. They often don't link the other kind of issues like child marriage or
Hmm.
violence against women and girls. What is your impression? Is this the true? You also find the same, mm, or what is your impression, and why it is happening?
Uh, See what happens whenever or whatever NGOs or anybody who's working on it, they think if you offer a pad to a girl, the problem is solved, because everybody thinks menstruation needs to be managed, not understood. The major difference is here. Why there is tokenism in most of the NGOs working on this is they think offering a pad you can solve the problem. No, you can't. You have to understand that menstruation should be understood first and then managed. Menstruation should be linked to health and not relationship between man and woman. Not, it is not an issue of sex, it is issue of health education. This needs to be accepted first and foremost, because only then a girl will be fed what she should be fed. The first thing when we talk about menstruation, if there are women sitting in front of me, I would tell them, first, stop discriminating between the boy and the girl. If you have one glass of milk, give half to the boy and half to the girl. You can't just ask the girl to thoda pani pee lo, thode chane kha lo, and give the milk to the boy. And it's not about education, it's not about who will take care of me. It is about your, if your next generation has to be healthy, the girl has to be healthy, and she will be healthy only if she is fed well right from the childhood. Only then she is going to get healthy menstruation, healthy periods, right? I mean, what are hormones? They are nothing but proteins. If the girl is not fed proteins properly, how she is going to secrete good proteins,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it is a, this is not an issue about pads. And every pad manufacturing or every pad making or pad selling company should understand this. This is not about giving a pad, putting a pad in girl's hand. Yes, putting a pad in girl's hand does empowers her, because then she knows she has a tool in her hand. Okay, but just the tool, no. her body also should be healthy, and that will
Yes.
begin at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think this education and dignified menstruation, one should, whenever we are trying to educate a girl or conduct an awareness program, it should be something like growing up healthy, then menstruation management, and then being ready to be parents.
Yeah.
All this encompasses all of this.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Very.
it's just a tokenistic gesture. It is not, you're not educating anybody.
Yeah.
You need to work around all these three. And
Yeah.
even,
I
I mean,
totally agree.
yeah,
Totally agree.
even the pad making company should work around all these three, because they are privileged to be in that sector, in that segment where people, you know don't people fear to tread even to get into this sector. But when we work with women and when we try to empower them by managing their menstruation, we are privileged to get into that part of women, to understand her, to understand her thinking. Okay. She's a woman, she's not just living, she's also thinking, whether she gets expresses herself or not, but she is definitely thinking. She has her own ideas. And if we are privileged enough to understand her ideas, then it is important to, you know, become her voice and put these ideas everywhere in the society and make sure that menstruation doesn't remain just like, those 4 days in the month, but it becomes a complete package, right from her growing
Yeah.
up to her journey of becoming a parent.
Yes. Even after the death. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, we find out that the few cultures
Hmm.
discriminate
Hmm.
even while doing the death rituals. There is a different
Oh,
death rituals between male and the female.
oh,
The
oh,
female's
oh.
death rituals will be complete once the husband death has already had. So
Okay.
this is the situation. So the menstrual dignity or dignified menstruation has a strong connection from womb to tomb, even after the death in some cultures.
Hmm.
It's a very, very, very important issue. We have to work together in this 21st century.
Hmm.
We have a very limited time. I wanted to
Hmm.
ask your opinion.
Hmm.
The November 25th to December 10, the globally, the
Hmm.
16 days activism has been celebrating in
Hmm.
different ways.
Yeah.
And the main theme is all about sharing the knowledge and celebration of our success and preventing the different types of violence against girls, women, and children. But
Hmm.
in this connection, what we discussed earlier, none of the 16 days incorporate
Hmm.
the impact of dignified menstruation, one thing. And second thing, since 2019, Global South Coalition and Nepal initiated the December 8th as a dignified menstruation day,
Hmm.
and very little organizations are marking that day.
Okay.
Why it is the that kind of resistance globally? Why do the people don't like to see the menstrual discrimination is a form of violence, and it create the different kinds of violence throughout the life cycle? What would be your position on that?
Uh, yes. See, it's a good idea to have this 16-day activism, so that the some of the problems are at least talked about. Sorry, my pet was bothering
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
me.
Just don't move. You are moving a lot. Just don't move, and it's okay. No worry about the dog.
Yeah. Uh, See, when there are certain days demand, at least some problems get talked about, uh, or some tokenistic this thing happens around them, around those problems. Like, we celebrate International Women's Day, and some people celebrate it as, wearing new clothes and partying. Even that happens. Actually, why are these days demarked? So that, a policy decision can be discussed. What should be the policy? It will be discussed. What could be the pathways to change? They would be discussed, or at least that day reminds you that you need to do these XYZ things according for this problem. But I call it sometimes activism for mm, feminism. I see. I have no intention of belittling efforts of the activists, but sometimes these days there is a trend to do more populist activities. Things which bring you in limelight. You do those, so well, it's okay. That also maybe that is needed, but unless you go to the root of the problem will never be eradicated. You just can't decorate a problem with other things. A problem is what it is, and it should be right in front of you. Whatever, whichever way it is growing or shrinking, you should be in the knowledge of it. So I would think, if there is an opportunity like this for 16 days, you have to do something. One, you should be telling women, talk about it what you want, not what we are giving you. The solution lies there, what women want. That should be brought into the focus. What should be done for that particular need? Again, building up programs around that should be the focus, because that is the only way to make a woman happy and comfortable, and will bring it dignity. Did I speak about it? In between, I had started a movement called the Hygiene Bucket Challenge. It was like one empowered woman empowering one girl. And it ran for 5 years now, and we reached out to more than 5 lakh women through that. The challenge was, someone who can afford should gift 1 year's supply of sanitary napkins to someone who can't afford it, who can't afford to buy it. But that is not a challenge, because that is hardly anything, little money. The challenge was, you speak about menstruation for 5 minutes. Whatever that comes to your mind, you speak about menstruation. Whatever is your thought, whatever you think should happen, should not happen. If you feel, some women said they feel being insulted. Why are they getting the periods every month? Why? Because somewhere they had this perception that they feel the whole world is looking at them strangely. Yes, it could be. If you're going to sit in one corner, if you're going to be forbidden from doing so many things, the world is going to look at you weirdly, and a
Yeah.
woman might feel insulted.
Yeah.
So they need to speak it out.
Yes.
Unless you start speaking out these things, unless there is a conversation around it, the dignity will not be attached to menstruation.
Yeah.
Menstruation is something, if a woman delivers a child, everybody will go near to her, comfort her, give her few advices. It should happen whenever a girl starts her period, because
Very good.
it needs to be told to the world that the period blood you are shaming, you are attaching it with impurity, is the blood you are nurtured on.
Yes.
It's the
Very true.
doctors who should be telling the world, telling the men and the women, that the endometrium, which is being shed during the period, is the lifeline of the new baby, new child.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
We will continue to speaking of at home, at
Yeah.
school, at workplace, and everywhere. And what is your plan to speaking up on the upcoming 4th International Dignified Menstruation Day, 8th December?
Okay. Well, there I'm going to share action research, my research on the same topics like the child marriage. We recently started working in Kashmir Valley, which was kind of closed to the world. I mean, nobody knew what is the life of a woman out there. So we have created now entrepreneurs there, bang in the Kashmir Valley, who are willing to work and educate other girls and give them the right kind of menstrual protection. So they can also go to school and pursue education, pursue their dreams, their life, their problems, and how they found a way out from that. What
Okay.
is the kind of
So,
activism they did? That's what I'm going to talk on.
so you also will be speaking on December 8th in Sri Lanka conference, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, we are in very end of our conversation.
Conversation. Okay.
Um, Swati has so much experience on working on dignified menstruation, so she can speak like hours and hours. We'll have another session to hear about her experience. Global South Coalition has been organizing different kind of activities in South America, North America,
Yeah.
Europe, Asia, Africa, South Asia, and in Nepal as well. The Secretariat Office also doing the webinars. And we will do the press meet by November 25th, and also we'll release official song in English.
Okay.
Say no. So please, friends, follow us.
Sure.
And then we will end this conversation by hearing the last message from Swati. Please go ahead, Swati. What is your last message for promoting dignified menstruation or celebration dignified menstruation upcoming December 8th?
Okay. Well, like you have made a song, I would end it with a song that we created to teach women. But I would tell every woman that please raise your own place in your own list of priority little higher. Women often place the family, the friends, the world in their priority list first before them. So please take yourself higher up in your own priority list. Like the men make fashion out of their ugly mustache and beard, you can make fashion, if not fashion, at least make yourself comfortable during your menstrual period. It is your right. Dignified. Don't ever be ashamed of your periods, because your period is your superpower. It's only you get the superpower to create a new life. No one else can do it. Without you,
Yeah.
the human race cannot go on.
Yes,
And menstruation is the
dignified
first,
menstruation.
yes, it is the first step to that.
Yes.
You get your first period, that gives you a signal that now you're fit to procreate whenever you want to. Again, I would say it comes with a this thing that pregnancy cannot be forced on you. You can
Yeah.
use your reproductive system when you want to,
Yeah.
when you want it. You're
Okay.
ready for it. So
Okay.
आज से इस्तेमाल मैंने सखी कर लिया, अब महावारी के डर से मैंने ब्रेकअप कर लिया, अब महावारी के डर से मैंने ब्रेकअप कर लिया.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Swati, for
Thank you
speaking with
so
us.
much.
It's a great pleasure and honor to have you. And friends, please keep following us. We have so many activities will keep coming, and tomorrow we'll be speaking with the Pakistan friends. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Thank you so much.
Yes. Recording is stop, live is stop.
Okay.
Stop now? How was it?
Yes, ma'am. It was very good and very informative, Dr. Swati. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
She
So
has so